South Carolina game. I want to once again thank Herb Tyler from Chick-fil-A in Seneca and Clemson for providing our lunch throughout this year. Kickoff will be at 7:06. It'll be televised on ESPN2. I'll turn it over to Coach.
Okay, appreciate y'all being here today. Excited about this week, just like a lot of people out there. And you know, for me, this to me is what college football is all about. To be able to participate in games like this as a player and a coach, it's just a special privilege, really. It's one of the main reasons I got into coaching. To be honest with you, is just I love to compete, and always have, and compete at the highest level. And games like this is what you dream about. So USC is a really good football team. They've had a great year. Won the SEC East for the first time, and watching them as they're really playing well as a team, having good contributions from all three phases. Going to be a tough challenge for us. Their offense is last week I told you Florida State was the best we have played, or 2 weeks ago, and I would say the same thing about these. This is the best offense we've played. Similar to Florida State in a lot of areas. They're both 33 points a game going into it, but these guys are more efficient and present a lot of challenges. And so we got our hands full there, and a bunch of formations. Not as many personnel groupings, but a lot of formations with the personnel that they put on the field. And probably the biggest thing that's different about them is they've been able to be much more balanced this year as far as really running the ball effectively, running the ball more. I think that's helped them. They're 50% plus on third down. So you're talking about a very, very efficient offense right now. Garcia is top 10 in the nation in passing efficiency, and they present a big challenge for anybody that they line up and play. Offensively for sure, and they've got some guys I think are pretty special players. That's why you go recruiting. It's all about recruiting. You get a couple key guys, they can change things for you in a hurry, and that's what you're seeing down there. Marcus Lattimore is a very, very good player, very good back. Guy we recruited really hard. Everybody else in the country did too. I mean, he is an outstanding player. Has had a great rookie year for him, and has been the difference, no doubt about it. 19 touchdowns, and we'll have to do a good job with him. And Garcia again's played well. Alshon Jeffrey, number one, has had another great year for them. He's a real challenge to deal with. And then they got other guys. They got some guys that are really playing great football, but then they got some really good complementary players that you can't forget about, and that's really what makes them tough to defend. 81's a very good player. 9-4, they present their own problems. Number 10's a good back. He's averaging over 5 yards a carry. So they got some good complementary pieces. Tight end's a good solid player, but their offensive line is playing well. Very well coached up there, and playing very solid for them up front. So for us, it's simple. We got to win the line of scrimmage. As simple as that. That's kind of the key for us every week on defense. Is our front four, they got to be dominant, and they've had the ability to do that as of late. So that'll have to continue to have an opportunity to slow 21 down. And if you can make them one-dimensional, then you got a good chance. They love the deep ball. Throw a bunch of deep balls. So we've got to do a good job there, and because they like to get those chunk type plays, and we got to get after their quarterback, try to affect him. Defensively, not much different, to be honest with you. Very talented, very good, fly around, very multiple. They're in even fronts, odd fronts, a lot of different pressures. really well coached over there. Their defensive line is, very disruptive. I think the two best tackles that we've played combination-wise. Fairley was a great tackle at Auburn, but these two guys together are really, really good. And defensive ends are active, long, tip a lot of balls. Florida must have had 4 or 5 tip balls that they got their hands on, and then their linebackers run really good. Don't really change personnel a lot. They'll take 26. He's kind of their hybrid guy. But do a lot of stemming. Right before the snap, they'll move their fronts. So that's things you have to deal with. And but for us, last year playing these guys, we didn't take care of the football. Simple as that. If we take care of the football, I think it's a different game. I don't know if we'd have won it or not, but it'd have been certainly a different game down to the wire there. And we got off to a good start, but momentum is critical in a game like this, and turnovers are a big part of that. And we had 3 critical turnovers that cost us, and then we got behind, and it was not the kind of game we wanted to play. But so we got to take care of the ball, and no doubt about that. And then we got to I think score some touchdowns when we get those opportunities and create some of our own big plays. But our offensive line will have to play well. They've played well all year. They'll have to. I think we match up good with these guys, but it certainly is going to be it's going to be something to watch, because they're very good over there and they take a lot of pride and play hard, and so do our guys. But offensively, our best players got to play. They got to play great games. Simple as that. Our good guys got to play good, and if they do, I think we can execute and have a chance to move the ball. Special teams. Just everybody's got to do their job, got to take great pride in doing their job, got to have a spark somewhere in the game. Whether it's a return or a block or something like that, that's a great way to create some momentum. But injury-wise, y'all all know about Terrence Ash. He's really just difficult injury to have to deal with going into his last game at home. And Miguel, hopefully we'll be able to do a little more today. Still kind of a day-to-day. And then was a little more encouraged with Ellington last night than I was last week. He moved around pretty good and was able to do some light practicing. Today he'll do a little bit more in some pads, and we'll keep. It looks like he's going to be a game-time decision. And I really thought by today I would know if he even had a chance or if he was out. But it looks like he's going to be able to practice a little bit today, and we'll see how he responds to the pads and all that over the next couple of days. But if he continues on the track that I saw last night, he could be a game-time decision. So it's a little more encouraged there. But this game simply is about execution. That's as simple as it gets. We got to line up. We got to have a great week of practice. Guys had a lot of energy last night. I thought there was a lot of positives from the game last week for us to build on, and guys had good spirit to them and ready to go to work. It's a great week. It's Thanksgiving. We all got a lot to be thankful for, and I'm thankful to have the opportunity to be a part of a game like this, and look forward to competing on Saturday.
Difference, last year to this year, and they kind of got the headliners here on offense this year, and last year was you with the headliners.
Well, that's kind of the way it goes. It goes in cycles. It's all about recruiting. They got a couple of really good players in there that are playing well for them, and the quarterback's playing outstanding. They're a good football team. I mean, they won the East. People kind of like last year. I don't think the East is very good. Everybody wants to talk about, well, the East isn't very good. Heck, it ain't easy to win your division. I don't give a crap it ain't easy to win. And so, hey, they got it done, and they got it done on the field, and just like our team last year got it done. We went and won it and had the best conference record, 6-2 since '91 here. It wasn't easy to do, and for them to go 5-3 in their conference, which is a good record for them, and be able to win their division, my hat's off to them. They've had an excellent year, and they've earned it. had to go on the road and win it last week at Florida. Not an easy thing to do, and they got it done. So, that's where we are. But they're a good football team, but I think we're a good football team too.
Mentioned a couple times there, recruiting, and with guys like Lattimore and Jeffrey, in-state guys that they beat you on, did you think you had a shot on those guys? And
we had a shot on Lattimore. Didn't think we were really in it with Jeffrey.
And how come? Why? I mean,
we got a lot of guys on this team in-state that we beat them on. That's just the nature of recruiting. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. We got some good players that have been here. We got a pretty good defensive end on this team that I'm sure they'd like to have down there. It's just recruiting. I mean, it's two good schools that are working hard in state for the same kids, and it's the same thing when I was at Alabama. I mean, you grow up in this state. I mean, some schools have more advantages than others in certain recruiting situations, and that'll never change, But I can assure you, we got 9 coaches that have an area, and we recruit this state as hard as we possibly can, and we'll get our share. They'll get their share, and that's the way it'll always be, as long as you're working. Both schools are working hard at it.
Do you ever remember the outcome of this game impacting a kid's decision to go to either place?
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, it can be a factor, I guess, for a guy, but probably not the factor. Most of these guys are making decisions based on what they're most comfortable with, opportunities to play, the academics, what their families are most comfortable with. That's usually what they're looking at.
Dabo, you were in this position last year where you had this game between the championship. Was it at all, looking back on it now, was that at all, looking towards the championship, a factor in last week? I mean, could you keep these guys focused throughout?
We had a great week of practice. We put everything we had into that game. We just turned it over. We had a bunch of guys play really good, but we just didn't do the things you got to do to win. And that's really what's about this game. I mean, we had the same thing at Alabama. We played in that. We won our division many times. I think 5 times while I was there, 5 or 6 times. And we always had to play Auburn. And usually we had it clinched before we played Auburn. I think only one time we had to beat them to clinch it. And we had Florida every year. It seemed like we were playing Florida in the championship game. So, it's just, they were always playing Florida State. But that's just the way it is.
Coach, what's unique about these classic rivalries that make them different than other football games? And your background with them, and I grew up watching them too. Yeah. What's unique to these games?
Well, I mean, it's everybody's backyard. The guys know, most of the players know each other. They have to live with each other all year through the media. You have a lot of recruiting battles that cross over. It's just you're in the same state, sharing the same resources. So that's what makes it unique. I mean, it's the game that everybody in the state cares about, and when you win or lose, when you go to the grocery store, you hear about it. When you go to the post office, you hear about it. When you go to your elementary school, you hear about it. When you go to church on Sunday, you hear about it. When you go out to a restaurant, you hear about it, and it's all year long. So, that's the difference. They're not sitting around usually talking about the Tennessee game or or whoever, us beating Wake Forest or NC State. They're going to talk about South Carolina, and South Carolina. It is. When you got 2 state schools like that, no pro sports, none of that stuff. I think that's what makes it unique and special.
How about you hearing it? You've won it, you've lost it. The difference on both sides from your standpoint on what you hear.
Well, sure makes for a better off season when you win it. From that standpoint, I've been in a bunch of these, 13 of them at Alabama, and I guess going on 8 or 9 of them now. And they're fortunately have won more than have lost, and that's a good thing. But had some tough ones, had some tough losses.